الله أكبر الله أكبر.
ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. It is yet another day with our lessons in Akhta'u al-Musallin, the errors and the mistakes of observers or those who establish Salah. The days are going, Ramadan is leaving us. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept from us our efforts in ibadah, our supplications. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to answer all the mistakes that we have committed in the month, either by mistake, intentionally, or by virtue of following our desires. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive us and to cover our shortcomings with His mercy and forgiveness. Innahu huwa at-tawwabur rahim. Today we are starting, yesterday we started with the new chapter regarding akhta'uhum fi salatul jama'ah, the mistakes regarding salatul jama'ah, observing the congregational prayer. Malam says we have classified this chapter into two. We have akhta'un la khilafa fiha, the mistakes or the errors that there is no dispute among the scholars regarding it being permissible or not permissible. All the scholars have unanimously agreed that it is a mistake, an error, and something that must be avoided. The first one is taruku salatul jama'ah fil masajid, neglecting the observance of salatul jama'ah, congregational prayer in the masjid. Neglecting congregational prayer in the masjid. Malam says, وهذا الخطأ منتشر بين كثير من المصلين. This particular canker, this particular cancer, this particular sickness, it has become so widespread amongst most Muslims. الذين, those who have a lot of those who could actually do as-sayr ila al-masjid, those who could make effort and walk to the masjid. Meanwhile, وَقَدْ حَضَّ النَّبِيُّ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ, and the Prophet ﷺ has encouraged and commanded ala salatil jama'ah, regarding prayers in congregation. وَبَيَّنَ ثَوَابَهَا, and the Prophet has explained to us the virtues and the blessings that is in praying in jama'ah, in congregation. فَعَنْ أَبِي هُرَيْرَةَ رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنْهُ وَأَرْضَاهُ, in the hadith of Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him, he said, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, the Messenger of Allah, may Allah be pleased with him, said, صلاة الرجل في الجماعة تضعف على صلاته في بيته. The Prophet said, the prayers of a man in the masjid is double, is multiple the reward of he praying alone in the house. The reward of praying in the masjid is multiple the reward of he establishing his own prayer in the house. وَفِي سُوقِهِ 25 ضِعْفًا, and likewise for a man to observe Salah in his market or in his shop, it is 25 times, meaning observing Salah in the masjid is 25 times better than you observing Salah in what? In your shop, at your where you are selling, or the marketplace. وَذَلِكَ أَنَّهُ إِذَا تَوَضَّعَ فَأَحْسَنَ الْوُضُوءَ, and the Prophet is telling us the reasons or the things that makes observing Salah in the masjid better than praying alone in your shop or in your house. And he said, وَذَلِكَ, this is because إِذَا تَوَضَّعَ, when you perform ablution, فَأَحْسَنَ الْوُضُوءَ, and you perfect the ablution, ثُمَّ خَرَجَ إِلَى الْمَسْجِدِ, and he leaves from his house or from his hostel or from where he stayed to the masjid, لَا يُخْرُجُهُ إِلَّا الصَّلَاةِ, nothing drove him out of the house except prayers. His intentions for leaving the house is what? To go and pray in Jama'ah, in the masjid. The Prophet said, "Lam yakhut khutwatan illa ruf'at lahu biha daraja." He will not take a step except that Allah will raise his rank in the sight of Allah by each step. So this is fadl, right? This is daraja. This is a blessing. No one will have it except the one who walks to the masjid for Jama'ah. He said he will not take a step except that Allah will raise his rank. Wa khutwan anhu khati'ah, and Allah will wipe away his sin by another step. فَإِذَا صَلَّى, when he observed the salah in the masjid, لَمْ تَزَلِ الْمَلَائِكَةُ تُصَلِّي عَلَيْهِ. The malaika will keep on seeking forgiveness for him and be praying for him as long as he is in the masjid observing salah. As long as he is done with the salah and is seated in the masjid, the angels keep on praying for him as long as he is in the masjid. مَا دَامَ فِي مُصَلَّاهُ, as long as he is seated at the place of prayer. That's how we discussed the last time, that among the things that salah, or the ways that salah causes Allah to forgive us our sins, is walking to the masjid and also keeping seated at the place of prayer and not rising and leaving the place. And the angels will say, Allahumma salli alayhi, O Allah, have mercy upon him. O Allah, bless him. Allahumma arhamhu, O Allah, have mercy upon him. وَلَا يَزَالُ أَحَدُكُمْ فِي صَلَاةٍ, and one of you, Allah will give him the reward of still being in salah, man tazara salah. As long as you are done with one salah, you are waiting for another salah. Allah will give a person the reward of being in salah as long as he's done. As long as he's done with one salah, as long as he's done with one salah and you are seated waiting for another salah, like the way we are seated after Maghrib. We are seated waiting for Isha. Allah will keep on giving us the reward as though we are still observing prayers. We are still in salah until Isha comes. May Allah grant us the reward. But for the one who neglects congregational prayers will not have this particular reward. And the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has warned sternly regarding neglecting congregational prayers, especially for guys. In the hadith of Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu warḍah, he said, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, the Messenger of Allah, may Allah be pleased with him, said, لَقَدْ هَمَمْتُ أَنْ آمُرَ, it was left with a little. I would have commanded someone to lead the salah. I would have commanded someone to lead the salah. فَتَأْتِي أَنْ يَجْمَعُوا حِزْمَ الْحَطَبِ, and I will command that they will gather for me al-hatab, firewood. It was left with a little. I would have let the muazzin make the ikama and let someone lead the salah instead of me, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and I will get firewood with fire on top of it. ثُمَّ أَمْرَ بِالصَّلَاةِ فَتُقَامْ, and I will let the salah the ikama be done, and I will let someone lead the salah. ثُمَّ أَحْرِقُ عَلَى أَقْوَامٍ, and I will go and burn the houses of the people لَا يَشْهَدُونَ الصَّلَاةِ, who do not observe the congregational prayer. Who is saying this? The one who Allah described him, لَقَدْ جَاءَكُمْ رَسُولٌ مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ عَزِيزٌ عَلَيْهِ مَا عَنِتُّمْ حَرِيصٌ عَلَيْكُمْ بِالْمُؤْمِنِينَ رَءُوفٌ رَحِيمٌ وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. The one with rahmah, the one with mercy, the one with humility. But he said, because of salah and because of neglecting congregational prayers, I would have commanded that the salah be started and let someone lead the salah, and I will go and burn the houses of the Muslims who don't come for congregational prayers. This shows the severity of what? Neglecting Salatul Jama'ah, especially when your reasons are not valid per the Sharia. And what are the reasons that are valid per the Sharia that allow someone to pray in the house? Severe sickness, that one cannot go out, cannot walk. Or there is heavy downpour, that a person cannot walk to the masjid. Other than that, there is no other reasons that can prevent a person from not observing Salah. But for ladies, observing Salah in the masjid is optional. Observing Salah in the masjid for ladies is optional. And the best place they will get more reward is when they pray in their houses, or when they pray in the houses of their husbands. That's where they have the majority or the largest of reward. But even them, the Prophet said, La tamna'u ima Allahi masajid Allah. When your wife intends to go and pray in the masjid, the Prophet said, do not what? Do not forbid them. Do not forbid the servants of Allah, the female servant of Allah, from visiting the house of Allah for prayers. Even them, Allah says you should not forbid them from going to pray in the masjid. But what can you do as a husband? If you still want her to be in the house, you find a way to lobby her and lobby her to stay in the house. But you do not prevent them from going to the masjid and observe the salah. May Allah grant us understanding. Sheikh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah said, من اعتقد أن الصلاة في بيته أفضل من صلاة الجماعة. Anyone who believes that he praying in his house is better than praying in the masjid of the Muslimin, of the Muslims, فهو ضال مبتدع بانتفاق المسلمين. Sheikh al-Islam says, anyone who believes that observing prayers in his house is better than the masjid, then that person is ضال. He's a misguided person. مبتدع, he's an innovator. And this is باتفاق المسلمين, with the unanimous agreement of the scholars of the Islamic jurisprudence. Because observing salah in the masjid is a command. That is why even whenever you look at the Quran, when Allah is speaking about the commands of salah, Allah will say, وَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ. If you learn lugha, that wow is wawul jama'ah. That Allah is meaning, do it in congregation. It's not be done in jama'ah. May Allah grant us understanding. So this is the error number 1 regarding Salatu al-Jama'ah. The mistake number 2 that is committed by a lot of Muslims regarding Salatu al-Jama'ah is Tarku sutra fi salati lil-imam wal-munfarid. Neglecting a sutra. When we say a sutra, that is placing something in front of you. Placing a barrier in front of you. Or putting something in front of you to serve as a barrier between you, the one observing the prayer, and the one who wants to pass in front of you. So observing or keeping a sutra is a command in Islam when you are observing prayer. But for the one who is the imam or the one who is praying alone. So, tarku sutra fi salah, neglecting the sutra in salah, the imam, for the imam, and al-munfarid, the one who is praying alone, is one of the mistakes that a lot of us do in the salah. Madam says, وَهَذِهِ سُنَّةُ الْوَاجِبَةِ. For this particular sunnah which is obligatory, لَا يَفْعَلُهَا مُعَظِّمُ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. You find a lot of Muslims, they don't do it. They don't observe the sutra. They don't keep the sutra. So when you are praying alone, assuming in the masjid, here you are coming to observe prayer, it is better and commanded that you have a sutra in front of you. That is, you pray and the pillar is your what? Your sutra in front of you. You don't just come and stand in the middle and you are praying and nothing is in front of you that will serve as a barrier between you and the one who wants to pass in front of you. That is why I sometimes get amazed if someone enters the masjid and is praying at the entrance. So if you want to cross or go outside, what do you want us to pass? You've not placed a sutra. And the whole masjid you've left everywhere and you are praying at the door. And the Prophet says, La tusalli, he says, do not observe prayer except in front or behind a sutra. So maybe unless you carry the person and come and put him in the middle and find a place that will do. May Allah have mercy upon us. Madam says, وَكَانَ النَّبِيُّ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمْ يَأْمُرُ بِهَا. The Prophet always commands that you put a sutra. In the hadith, فَكَانَ يَقُولُ, he used to say, لَا تُصَلِّي إِلَّا إِلَى السُّتْرَةِ. Do not pray except that you have a sutra in front of you. Sometimes your sutra can be the person in front of you praying. Probably someone is praying and you come and stand behind him. And also pray. So the person becomes your sutra. Or you come in front, now the wall becomes a sutra. Because if anyone is passing, definitely he knows that you are praying. The wall is a sutra. He cannot come and pass in front of you and the wall. But you just don't go and stand at an open place and there's no sutra. The Prophet forbid. In the hadith one he said, La tusalli illa ila sutra. Do not pray except in the sutra. Error number 3. We are just jumping. Is it error number 3 or number 2? Number 3. Al-khata al-thalitha. The error or the mistake number 3 is Tarku as-saff al-awwal. Neglecting the first row. Saff al-awwal, the first row, the congregation. Neglecting the saff al-awwal, the first row. Madam says, يَتَخَلَّفُ كَثِيرٌ مِنَ الْمُصَلِّينَ. You find a lot of people who observe prayer, يَتَخَلَّفُ, they turn their back. And الصَّلَاةِ فِي الصَّفِّ الْأَوَّلِ, praying in the first row. The Iqamah will be done, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. They're doing the Iqamah, the first row is not full. Then all of us will come and we are starting second row. Then you push someone, you go in front, go in front. We neglect the first row. Meanwhile, the first row is the row that has the best of virtues and blessing. We'll come to read about it. وقد يكون هذا المتأخر عن الصف من الأول الناس قدوما إلى المسجد. And sometimes you find the person who is praying at the latter row or the last row or the row after the first row, he's even the first person to come to the masjid. He came earlier, but he won't come and catch up with the first of. Meanwhile, the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, when they come to the masjid, they come early and they come and book the first seat. They will book it because of the rewards that is therein. If they were to share bag of rice tomorrow at 6 p.m., the Jama'ah that will come to the masjid and sit will be more than the number of people who come for iftar. And I'm very particular if they are to say they will share a parcel tomorrow at dawn at 3 a.m. The whole campus, they will take their suhoor. They will come and they will take suhoor here. But we leave the one that is for the akhirah. Meanwhile, the akhirah is better. وَلَلْآخِرَةُ خَيْرٌ لَكَ مِنَ الْأُولَى. The akhirah is better than what is in the dunya. Madam says, وَقَدْ حَضَّ النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم الصلاة في الصف الأول. Meanwhile, the Prophet has encouraged us that we should always catch up with the first row. In the hadith of Abu Hurairah رضي الله عنه وارضاه, he said, قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, the Messenger of Allah صلى الله عليه وسلم said, لو يعلم الناس, if the people know ما في النداء, the reward that is in calling the adhan. Now the adhan is not to old people, right? If someone is unemployed, then becomes a muazzin. The moment he gets a job, he has azan, salaam alaikum. To the extent that now azan has been left for children. It will be time for azan, then they will be looking for the boys. Hey, go and call the azan. It's time for salah. Because we don't know the rewards that is in adhan. We don't know the rewards that is in Safil Awal, the first rule. Ignorance is a canker. Ignorance is a disease, especially ignorance of Islamic religion. May Allah forgive us. The Prophet said, لَوْ يَعْلَمُ النَّاسِ مَا فِي النِّدَاءِ. If the people know the reward that is therein in calling the adhan, وَالصَّفِّ الْأَوَّلِ, and the reward in the first row, ثُمَّ لَمْ يَجِدُوا إِلَّا أَنْ يَسْتَهِمُّوا عَلَيْهِ لَاسْتَهَمُّوا. If they know the reward that is in calling adhan and the first soft, and they have no other option than to cast a lot, to find out who will go to the first row or who called the azan, they would have done that. Do you understand the hadith? If we have known the reward that is in calling the adhan and the first of who, like we will cast a lot and vote on those who will be in the first row before we allow you to come. If you win, then you come and stand on the first row. If you win, before you go and call the azan. If only we know the rewards in there. But we don't cast a lot, we don't vote, but that we still neglect the first row, and we still neglect calling the adhan. Now, there's a lot of hadith that we need to catch up because of time. I'm just taking the point and we leave the explanation. Error number, let's go to the next one. Error number what? Number 4. The first one is Salah to Jama'ah, right? Second one is what? Come again. Sutra. The second one is sutra. Placing a sutra in front of you. The third one. Come again. Which one is the third one? The first row, Safil Awal. There are two. The first row and the adhan. The reward in the first row and the adhan. The fourth error that you find a lot of masajid. This one is common, and I'm a victim. I hope I'll share my experience here. The fourth error and mistake that you find in a lot of masajid. Madam says, Al-ahaqu bil-imama. Who deserves to be the imam? Who is of most deserving to lead the people in prayer? Madam says, يُخْتِوْ مَعَظُّمُ النَّاسِ فِي مَنْ هُوَ أَحَقُّ بِالْإِمَامَةِ. You find a lot of Muslims, they make mistakes regarding the one who is deserving to lead the people in Salah. فَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ جَعَلَ ذَلِكَ خَاضُعًا لِلْعَرْفِ وَالْآرَاءِ. For some people, they've made it like a privilege and an honor to lead the people in prayer. If you don't have a status in the society, you are not someone who don't lead people in prayer. You are not supposed to lead the mosque in prayers. You can't lead the Salah. I remember one time I'll share it after. فَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ يُقَدِّمُ الرَّجُلُ لِلْإِمَامَةِ الْكِبْرِ السِّنَّةِ. For some people, they allow someone to lead the prayer only if he's old. If he's an elderly, who are you? You, small boy, you're coming to me. Go back, they will sack you. They allow only the elderly to lead the people in prayer. أَوْ لِمَنْزِلَتِهِ بَيْنَ قَوْمِهِ. Or they look at someone who has some status among his people. Perhaps he is a chief, or he has money, or he has some respect. So he is the one who leads the people in prayer. He is the imam. He is the one who is made to lead the people in prayer. أَوْ لِكَوْنِهِ مُتَزَوِّجًا. Or they look at the sofu. Are you married? Okay, you are married. Lead us. If you are not married, you won't lead prayers. I was a victim. I don't know, maybe my people watch me online. At our place, I once led Salah when the imams were absent. And after the Salah, I think it was Salah al-Asr. Then the evening at Maghrib, the imam got information that I led Salah. They asked me to lead the Salah. No one was there. They went to your imam, they knocked his door, he wasn't coming out. He was not there. So they said, hey, lead us in prayer. And by then, we were going to Tahfiz, so I memorized the Quran. So I led the prayers and we prayed. In the evening, they called me. They said, Kabbalah Salah, Asr. Go, say, don't ever leave Salah again, you're not married. Okay? I said, okay. So they said, we should never leave Salah over there because we're not married. Then the next day, we started leading Salah in a different masajid. And that even motivated us to memorize the Quran. In the next Ramadan, we led Salat al-Tarawih and Tahajjud off head, no Quran in our hands. So the ones who are supposed to lead people in Salah, as the hadith will tell us, is a'lamuhum bil Quran, the one who is knowledgeable in the Quran. The one who is knowledgeable in the Quran, he is supposed to be the imam. Not about age, not about your wealth, not status. It's about ilm, knowledge. That is why even if he's young and is more knowledgeable in the Quran, he will lead all the elders of the community in prayer because he is the best person to lead the prayer. It is about Quran and knowledge. Islam is led with knowledge, not with might. Islam is led with knowledge, not with wealth. Islam is led with knowledge, not by age. It's knowledge that drives Islamic religion. If it's not by religion, I won't be seated here. Some of you would have been better than me to sit here and give the lectures. Is that not so? That is it. It is by knowledge. يَرْفَعِ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مِنْكُمْ وَالَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْعِلْمَ دَرَجَاتٍ. Madam says, وَالْأَحَقُّ بِالْإِمَامَةِ هُوَ أَقْرَأُ النَّاسِ لِكِتَابِ اللَّهِ. The best people to lead the people in prayer is أَقْرَأُ النَّاسِ, the most versed of people لِكِتَابِ اللَّهِ, regarding the Quran, the one who is ahead of you in Quran. So if all of us are here, you are in Surah Al-Hashir, she's Mumtahana, this is Surah Al-Mujadala. You look at the one who knows more, who is ahead of you, he is supposed to lead us in prayer. I remember back then when we were at the Tahfiz al-Quran, when we were memorizing the Quran, our scholar, Sheikh Habibullah Yusuf in Takradi, Maghrib prayers, he will look among the students. The one who is ahead, he will lead us in prayer. Sometimes you find there was one guy who was in front of me, very small boy, he's ahead of me. But then I was in SHS, he was in JHS2, I was in SHS3, small boy, short. Then you enter, when you even enter, you even see him, very small, down. But he's the one leading the whole mosque in prayer because he's ahead of everyone in Hifz. Al-Haqqu bil-Imama akra'un nas. The one who is supposed or best to lead the people, the best candidate to lead the prayers, Jama'ah, is the one who knows the Quran more. Madam says, there are instances where we have 2, 3 or more people, all of them, they are at the same level with Quran. Is it not possible? It's possible. All of them, they are hufaz. All of them, their recitation is good. So now, who leads the prayer? Let's go back to the office of the Prophet. Let's go ask him. He said, وَلَأَحَقُّ بِالْإِمَامَةِ أَقْرَأُ النَّاسِ لِكِتَابِ اللَّهِ أعلمهم بأحكام الصلاة وغيرها من الأحكام, and one who knows much of the rulings of Salah. He knows Qabli, he knows Ba'adi, he knows what Sunnah al-Salah, he knows Mubtilat al-Salah, he knows Arkan al-Salah, he knows Wajibat al-Salah, the one who knows more about the rulings of the Salah. If all of them are on the same level in Quran, let's look among them. Who knows much about the rulings of Salah? He should step ahead. It can also be that all of them, they are the same level in the second. Or it's not possible. Is it possible? They all Quran, they are all Hufas, or they are all at the same level. Regarding the rulings of Salah, they are all classmates. So what do we look at again? Madam says, فَإِنِ اسْتَوَتْ نَانِ. The Prophet said, when the two, Madam says, when the two are equal, the first one is what? When the two are equal, when they are equal in the two, the first one is what? The Quran. The second one, the rulings of Salah. Then he says, يُقَدِّمُ الْأَكْبَرُ سِنًّا. Then we let the one who is older lead them in prayer. So elderly comes in the third category, the third rank, the third consideration, the third option. MCQs, ABC is the C. But the first category is Quran. The second, the one who is well versed about the knowledge of Salah or the rulings of Salah. Then if they are equal in that par, or they are apart in that, then we look at the one who is what? Who is knowledgeable, or the one who is what? Who is who is elderly. But Malam says, وَيَجُوزُ تَقْدِيمُ الْمَفْضُولِ مَعَ وُجُودِ الْفَاضِلِ تَنْبِيهِ. It is also possible that we let someone who is a little lower to lead us in Salah, even though there was someone who is better than him to lead. It's allowed. Meaning, it is also allowed to allow someone who is lesser, meaning we have someone who is a hafiz, he has memorized the Quran, but someone who is lesser than him to lead a Salah. It's also what allowed. And what is the evidence? In the hadith of Abi Saeed, he said, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, the Messenger of Allah, may Allah be pleased with him, said, إذا كانوا ثلاثة, when you are three, فليؤمهم أحدهم, when you are three people, let one of you lead you in Salah. وأحقهم بالإمامة أقرأهم, and the best of them to be the Imam is the one who is well versed in the Quran, the one who has learnt the Quran. Let's take the last hadith and we call it a night. In the hadith of Abi Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu warḍah, he said, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, the Messenger of Allah, may Allah be pleased with him, said, يَأُمُّ الْقَوْمَ أَقْرَأُهُمْ لِكِتَابِ اللَّهِ. The one who is well versed, the one who has memorized a lot, the one who is ahead of the people in the Quran, يَأُمُّ الْقَوْمَ, he should lead the people. Criteria, right? The one who is well versed with the people. فَإِنْ كَانُوا فِي الْقِرَاءَةِ سَوَاءً, if they are all at par in qira'ah, they are all at par in hifz, فَأَعْلَمُهُمْ بِالسُّنَّةِ, then the one who knows more of the sunnah should lead. So this one, he has memorized Quran, but this one he has learnt hadith. He knows hadith. He knows the sunnah more than you. Then he is the best person to lead the people in prayer. It's not about voice. It's not about voice and recitation and style and tajweed. It's about what? Knowledge of the Quran. Even though the tajweed plays a critical role in the knowledge of the Quran. May Allah grant us understanding. Now, فَإِنْ كَانُوا فِي السُّنَّةِ سَوَاءً, if all of them are at par in the knowledge of the sunnah, فَأَقْدَوْمُهُمْ hijrah, then the one who did hijrah earlier should lead the people. Now there's no hijrah, right? Or we have muhajirun here. فَإِنْ كَانُوا فِي الْهِجْرَةِ سَوَاءً, if they all did hijrah and they all did hijrah at the same time, then فَأَقْدَمُهُمْ سِنًّا, then we let the one who is elderly, the one who is ahead of the other in age, he should lead them in Salah. So Salah or being an Imam is not about age. Leading the people, we have Imam al-Rawatib and Imam for Jama'ah. Imam al-Rawatib, Khamsa Salawat, Maghrib, Zuhr, Asr, Isha, is different from being an Imam to lead the whole community. For the whole community, because you are leading a congregation and an ummah, they may require someone who has knowledge, wisdom, age, intellect, and understanding. But when it comes to leading the Salah, it is about the knowledge of the Quran and the Sunnah. May Allah grant us understanding. May Allah lead us to the right path. Inshallah, tomorrow is Monday, Tuesday. If Prof doesn't come, then we continue with our lesson, or else we meet again, inshallah. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanallahil azim. Any question? Can we tell a question? One or two? No question. no time. Inshallah. Subhanallah, alhamdulillah, subhanallah, alhamdulillah, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.